This is Victoria for my reading log for the award recipient for the NCTE Award for Excellence in Poetry for Children. The author that I chose was Marilyn Nelson. She was the 2017 award winner. The book from Marilyn that I chose was How I Discovered Poetry, which is a autobiographical poetic form of her telling the story from her life between the ages of 4 to 14. So this takes place in the 1950s, from 1950 to 1959 to be exact. She grew up as a military child, so they were constantly traveling. I feel like half the book is them traveling from one place to another. They moved, at one point they're in Maine, and the next they're in California, and then Texas, and Mississippi, and Oklahoma, and they're just all over. So her dad's in the military. Her mom is a working woman, which is rare for the 1950s, and especially for an African-American mother as well. The mother is a teacher, and is a very, very forward-thinking woman of that age. She talks about voting. She's excited to vote for President Eisenhower. She's very excited for the movement, the civil rights movement, and wanting to be the first African American to do X, Y, or Z. Marilyn's just kind of like, okay, cool, that sounds great. I'm still the only African kid in my class, but okay. They reconnect with old friends. They have to say goodbye to family members. They take film and turn their bathroom into a dark room to see the pictures. She learns dancing and wants to hide it from her family. There's pictures on the outside and the inside of the book of pictures of just Marilyn and her sister. Her parents are on the back cover, and just kind of their life growing up. There's also a few little drawing type sketches to help kind of enhance the story. There's also, the titles are done in a little scripty font with the date and their location, and then the sonnet. So the poems are all written as sonnets. Sonnets are 14 lines long, and they're also written iambic pentameter, which means that there's 10 syllables per line. It doesn't rhyme, and intentionally doesn't rhyme, so it's very easy to follow along and write and read with it. There's also an author's note at the end about kind of how she wrote the story. This was a very fun read, even though it was only a sonnet per entry. It was very intriguing in such a creative way. By the beginning of the book, she's talking about how we're moving again, and by the end of the book, she's trying to discover if poetry really is her passion that she hopes and dreams that it is. Which is struggles and relations that we can all go through of, my world is changing as a young child because we're moving again, versus, you're a teenager and you're wondering, what am I supposed to do with my life? Have I found my life calling, or is this just a chance thing that I have found? So the appropriate age for this book is about 12 and up. And I was thinking that an activity that could be enjoyable for students would be to take a similar experience from their childhood, moving, making new friends, something happening in the classroom, a classmate making you mad, a sleepover experience, if you have a special treasure box, something that Marilyn also discovered, and writing about that in a sonnet form, which is 14 lines. Doesn't have to necessarily be by iambic pentameter, but something along those lines where they can share their story as well. So once again, this is my author's choice for the award recipient of the NCTE Award in Excellence for Poetry for Children. I chose a 2017 winner, Marilyn Nelson.